to the thrilling world of the Flying RuNR, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hey there, it's Tony here from the Flying RuNR. Welcome to Out and Back, the turnaround point for your weekly running journey. Now, this episode is being released on Christmas Day. So let's have a look at Christmas from a runner's perspective. So how do we tackle Christmas like a pro from feast to finish line? First up, let's look at the warm-up. Now, the warm-up's really important because it's all about dynamic stretches. We're reaching underneath the Christmas tree and we're pulling out presents. So reach, stretch, and bring them out. Now, I'm going to give you bonus points, and for anyone out there with kids will know what I'm talking about here. I'm going to give you bonus points if you can maintain your stretching form while dodging flying wrapping paper. Okay, so the first bit's the warm-up. Then we want to fuel strategically. So this is like looking at how we fuel ourselves for Christmas Day. It's usually not a hard thing to do because we have to treat the Christmas lunch as a bit of a marathon aid station. You know what I'm talking about. We've got carbs, right? We've got electrolytes. Okay, we can call gravy electrolytes. Okay, we've got hydration. Yes, we do include wine and beer as well. It's technically liquid, but you've got to pace yourself because we've got to hit the dessert table as well. And if we hit the dessert table too soon, often that leads to bonking, and we don't want that to happen on Christmas Day. Let's look at what happens when we catch up with our family, and we're going to call this like intervals, right? Because you're going to be sprinting between multiple conversations, with long lost relatives while we dodge questions. And every family's got questions that they like to ask, but no one likes to answer, right? So we're going to be dodging those questions. So this is all about interval training. This is your trainings put you in good stead. You can alternate between those conversations and dodge those questions without skipping a beat. I've got no dramas that you can do that. Let's have a look at, unfortunately, some people always have to go to multiple places. There's always two family sides, or potentially even 3 or 4 in some cases nowadays. And we're always carrying presents between those places. So this is a little bit like a hill training, right? So you've got to prepare for this. You're going to be carrying presents out of cars in lots of cases. We're going to trap some up here, upstairs potentially. So we've just got to make sure that you've got the strength there to be able to do the hill training with the presents, right? We've got to engage our glutes. We've got to make sure our core is strong to avoid injury. And we certainly don't want to be dropping any presents, especially some of those toys potentially, or that fragile gift you bought for your long-lost grandma. So at most Christmases, there's normally some Christmas games. So let's look at this like a little bit of cross-training. So this is about functional strength training. Charades, for example. I know a lot of families get into charades and board games. You can activate and do squats and arm lunges and leg lunges and wild arm movements while yelling or trying to get the attention of the person doing the charade. I'm sure you can do that. Let's maximize it. But also in cricket, let's really go for those catches. If you've got a bit of backyard cricket going on where you are having Christmas, have a little bit of fun with it and just steam in like you're the world's best fast bowler. Or take a lunging catch and making sure that you're doing the right thing there. You're also going to need a little bit of mental toughness because, once again, whether you're with family or friends, there's going to be someone there with some dodgy old dad jokes. Just about every family's got them. So it's just like mile 20 of a marathon. You've got to dig deep when the puns start flying. And all I can say is you've got this. You're that close to the finish line. Don't let a couple of bad puns or dodgy jokes do you in at this late stage of the day. Some people will get lucky and be able to do a recovery run, or e.g. the post-dinner walk. And this is where we often will take a stroll to go admire the Christmas lights. And in most neighborhoods nowadays, right around the world, there's Christmas lights happening. And this does allow you to at least get your body moving again. Make sure you stick to conversational pace. And yes, if you have a dog, I am even going to give you the opportunity to have some resistance training. If you're out walking your dog and your dog's a little bit pulling on the lead, well, I'm going to give it to you. You've done some resistance training, so well done. Don't forget some of the finer aspects of your hydration plan. Make sure that you're alternating between festive seasonal drinks and glasses of water. We actually do need to stay hydrated. So, and you need to do this ultimately because you want to avoid waking up feeling like you've run an ultra out there in the desert. So just make sure you've got a decent hydration plan and you pace yourself. So there are some PBs to be set. One would be about most desserts sampled. I think that's an important one to aim for on Christmas Day. Going for a PB or going for a PR, as they call it in America, that's cool. Go for it. Go for it in desserts. There's not a lot of overtraining you can do, but there is a lot of overeating you can do on the day. So a DNF is not what you want, which is a did not feast. So if you've really failed your eating plan and didn't get the desserts in, that's a DNF. So let's make sure that you can get a PB in there and sample as many desserts as you possibly can. And the last thing is about cooldown, and this is going to happen on Boxing Day. And like a proper recovery day, it usually involves snacks, the TV being on, and mostly avoiding any movement that isn't reaching for the remote. Okay, so remember, Christmas is like an ultra. It's not about speed. It is about endurance, pacing, and making memories on the course. So happy festive, have a happy Christmas. And I really look forward to seeing everyone in the new year. And as always, thanks for tuning in. If you like the podcast, please subscribe wherever you're tuned in and leave a review, as it really does help others find us. So watch out for our next full episode, which, as usual, will be coming out this Friday. Until then, I hope to see you out there. Well, maybe not on Christmas Day. Happy running.